What's going on, guys? So first of all, I want to apologize. My shirt and my hair are going to look a little bit different from now compared to the outro of the video. I recorded the intro and the outro on the same day, but I just wasn't really happy with the way the intro looked and how it worked out. So I'm just going to re-record that. So I want to ask you guys, or not ask you guys, but talk to you guys about the format and a deck that I personally think is going to be a big sleeper pick this format for a number of reasons. And that deck is Dinomorphias. And I really do think, if you guys hear me out, if you guys give me a chance here, I think you're going to be surprised at just why this deck is actually pretty good right now. There's a lot of ways that this deck interacts with the current format, and a lot of ways that it can stop some of the best decks. It completely shuts down Mitsu, because Murakumo's effect to negate or hand rip and blow up your board to activate on the field, which Rex Term stops. And also, it has, you could play Debunk in it, which stops things like Branded, a couple of the Cool Tune stuff. It also stops Striker. It stops a little bit of Radiant. So there's a lot of actual points where Dinomorphia kind of comes up. And I really do think, if you guys give me a chance here, I'm going to show you just how it does that. Now, I know what a lot of you may be thinking. Colton, Dinomorphias aren't that good. They're just set up Rex Term and pass. But here's the thing. Rex Term is all you need. Rex Term can actually stop a lot of decks right now. Mitsurugi, Rex Term shuts down Murakumo. It shuts down the Futsu to just repeatedly summon over and over and over again. Yeah, they can still, when they're tributed, they can still do the add and then summon back. But Murakumo, it can't wipe your board. It can't force you to discard a card or have the effect be negated. Stealth Bergia also actually has a relevant effect that you don't have to pay life points for trap cards. So you can put up a Stealth Bergia and then have, Iron Thunder, Solemn Judgment, Solemn Strike, all these cards that, Judgment's limited. Iron Thunder is basically a Judgment, and you don't have to pay life points for them. So I think when you guys see what I'm working with here, you guys might just have your minds changed a little bit. Starting off with the monsters. 3 Dinomorphia Theresia, 2 Diplos, and 1 Misk. Some people don't play the Misk. I think you should play the Misk because if you do have Misk in your hand and you do your, set 4 pass, once you summon Rex Term, you can make him basically immune for a turn. Or you can prevent, Kentragina from being ghost spelled or whatever the case may be. So I do think playing Miscellaneousaurus is essentially mandatory, I would say. Getting into the trap cards, 3 Domain. It has been a minute since I've played this deck, but I'm pretty sure Dinomorphia Domain is a 1-card Rex Term. I could be wrong, though. Frenzy, though. 3 Dinomorphia Frenzy. Frenzy is the big one. Frenzy is a Kentragina and a Rex Term, and that is big. 3 Intact. This is just a monster negate, so this stops Ash. It stops Murakumo. It stops Lucius. It stops whatever Radiant Typhoon monsters they have. It stops Star Striker Ray, Striker Zero. It's just a monster negate. And it's very, very powerful because of that. 1 Brute, 1 Sonic. Brute is a pop, and Sonic is, I believe, a Speller Trap negate. And then I do play the Zark stuff. So 3 Soul of the Supreme King. Zark is mainly just a big body in this deck. That is all he's mainly known for. That's all the Dinomorphia stuff, as well as the Zark stuff. And then for a little bit more of non-interruption, or non-engine rather, excuse me, 3 Iron Thunder, like I said. It's essentially a solemn judgment. And also, I think it's in Vacant Soul, I think it's Razin, basically has Iron Thunder's effect, where you just blow up the column. And that card is decently good, and some of that is because of that effect. 3 Ferret Flames. What's actually kind of crazy about this card that not a lot of people realize, this outs Liger Dancer. This outs the new Dark Magician guy that's unaffected by everything. This outs, if you're playing against Dragon Ruler, the Disaster, if he's got all the materials. This outs anything that is unaffected because it forces your opponent to get rid of the monsters. And also, if, let's say, you have 1,000 life points and your opponent has all monsters that have over 1,000 life points, they have to clear their entire field. So if their board is, Liger Dancer, and if their board is even double Liger Dancer, they have to get rid of both of them. Ice Dragon's Prison, because I've been seeing a lot of Mitsurugi Fiendsmith stuff. And Ice Dragon's Prison is pretty good into Fiendsmith. 3 Debunk. Sorry, my dog. 3 Debunk. Debunk is a very slept-on card, I feel like. Especially in trap decks. Because stops Ash, stops Lucius, all those hand effects. It stops all of those. And I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, all of the Cool Tune stuff, or at least a large portion of it, are hand effects. So, Debunk. And then round out the traps, just 3 Imperm. And then we do actually play just a couple of spells, nothing too insane. 1 Called By. This is mainly to stop Ash or anything like that. Just for a little bit of consistency, 3 Fossil Dig. And 3 Lost World. I do think this is a pretty controversial pick, and I wouldn't even say that it's wrong not to play it, and maybe play, like, some kind of consistency card, or another, like, trap card that you may have, like maybe even Judgment and 2 Strike would be fine here. But I do like Lost World because it is just another way of protecting Rexterm and Kentradina. So that is it for the main deck. Getting into the extra deck. 2 Rexterm. I do think you should play 3 Rexterm. I think 3 Rexterm is better. I just don't know where my third one is. I know for a fact that I had 3 at one point, but I took 1 out at one point because I was planning on making this be my Genesis deck, and then I just don't know where I put it. But I do think 3 is better. 3 Kentragina. I typically like to match my Kentraginas with my Rexterms, but again, I don't have a third Rexterm. 2 Stealth Bergia. Again, Stealth Bergia does have that relevant effect of not paying life points for trap cards, but also Stealth Bergia is oftentimes one of the cards you're going to be sending through Dinomorphia Frenzy in order to go into your Rexterm. 1 Zark and 1 Archray Dragon for your Soul of the Supreme King, and then the other 2 cards that you're summoning off of Soul of the Supreme King, because a very big effect of Soul of the Supreme King that not a lot of people realize, or they just play into, or whatever the case may be, is when it's in your graveyard, if they activate a spell card, you can banish it to summon some, I can't remember what the text exactly is, but you can summon Brave Eyes Pendulum Dragon and Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon off of it. This, originally when I made this deck, Yubel was still in the format, so this is just in place of that. To be perfectly honest, I would cut this and make this be the third Rexterm slot, but this is just the best option that I have for now, and I would just play only the 1 target for Soul of the Supreme King. And then just a couple Xyz. We got a Dolka, a Lagia, and a Dugaris, just because Theresia and Diplos are level 4s. And then just a Typhon. Typhon could also be an argument for, let's say, for whatever reason, there's another Yubel comes back for whatever reason, or there's another deck that uses 0 attack monsters, and you want to keep Brave Eyes, you could cut Typhon for a 3rd Rex term. And then getting into the side deck is pretty much entirely going second. It actually is entirely going second. Mainly just because this deck's best board is set 5 pass. Maybe set 4 with a Lost World. So with that in mind, all going second cards. It's going to be Ash Blossom, 2 Droll, 2 Nibiru, 2 Ghost Bell. And these also could also be, if you want to cut something in the main deck, like you want to add like a cross-out or something, these all could be cross-out targets, actually. Droll, maybe not so much, just because this deck does not care about Droll in the slightest. And then the last 6 cards are just 4 Kaijus and 2 Lava Golem. Gamma Seal probably would be better because it's the weaker Kaiju, but I just don't have Gamma Seal on me. But 4 Kaijus and 2 Lava Golem, just because there are quite a number of monsters going around right now that are straight up unaffected. Again, you know, Lunalight, the Dark Magician, or not the Dark Magician, the branded card. There's quite a lot of things right now that are unaffected, so it's nice to have an easy way to out those. So guys, that is it for the deck profile. I really honestly do think, and this isn't just glazing, I think Dinomorphia actually has a place this format, because Debunk can stop all of the Cool Tune hand effects, and then Rexterm just takes care of everything else that's on the field. And this deck actually isn't just control. It has a lot of OTK power. You have Rexterm's effect to just make all of your opponent's attack position, or opponent's monsters have their attack become equal to your attack, and you could just deal a bunch of damage. But then also, if you debunk something, like let's say you're against Dracotail, and you debunk their Lucius, and that's all they have, they pass on nothing. And then you have Rexterm with 3,000, Kentrigina with typically 3,000-ish, and then on your turn, you can Rexterm. You can Rexterm if they have nothing, by the way. So you can Rexterm, get Kentrigina to 35. You can Kentrigina, pay your life points, and then get Kentrigina higher, but then also summon out another Kentrigina or another Rexterm, and just deal a whole bunch of damage and possibly even OTK. So this deck actually does have quite a bit of OTK power after you control the game a little bit. And I do think there is a place for it this format. I really do think so. I'm going to test it for a little bit. I'm going to test it on YGO Omega. I'm going to test it maybe on Dueling Book. But let me know what you guys thought about this deck profile down in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please consider hitting the like button. If you really, really loved it, please, please, please consider subscribing. I love you all, and remember, don't drown.